Beneath the ordinary world lies a veil, and behind it, the voices of the lost still whisper.
We are your guides into the shadows, where true crime meets the paranormal.
From chilling crimes to haunted histories, we uncover the stories that refuse to rest.
This is Veil of Echoes.
I was raised on stolen land and built with borrowed breath. Before the paint dried, before the porches wrapped around me like arms, I already knew grief. They buried secrets beneath my floors. But the dead don't forget where they lived. And I remember every footstep. They call me haunted, but I am only full. Welcome to the Myrtles.
Episode 39, The Myrtles Plantation. Welcome back to Veil of Echoes, where true crime meets the paranormal.
Each week, we step into the spaces where history lingers, where tragedy leaves a mark, and the past refuses to stay quiet.
We're your hosts. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Bria.
Tonight, we're traveling to the deep south, to a house wrapped in moss, memory, and myth.
A place many call one of the most haunted homes in America, but whose true story is far more complicated.
The Myrtles Plantation has been home to generations of families, enslaved people, children, and caretakers, and to stories passed down long after their owners were gone. Some say it's haunted by spirits. Others say it's haunted by history.
Before we begin, we want to offer a content warning. This episode includes discussion of slavery, illness, death, and alleged paranormal activity. Listeners' discretion is advised.
If you enjoy Veil of Echoes, we'd love for you to follow the show and leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Every listen, every follow, every review helps new listeners find their way through the veil.
You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook for haunting visuals, behind-the-scenes moments, and updates on what's coming next. The Myrtles wasn't built to be a legend. It was built to be a home. But like many places born of silence and suffering, it learned how to remember.
To understand why the Myrtles is said to be haunted, we have to start at the beginning, with the land, the people, and the kind of history that never truly leaves.
Before it became a legend, before the stories of ghosts and mirrors and whispers in the night, the Myrtles Plantation was simply land, quiet, fertile. In St. Francisville, Louisiana, overlooking the Mississippi River, a place chosen not for what it was, but for what it could produce.
Long before the Myrtles was ever built, this land already belonged to someone else. Indigenous tribes lived along the Mississippi River for generations, hunting, trading, and burying their dead there. By the time the plantations rose along the riverbanks, those people had already been pushed out, erased, or absorbed into silence. So when the Myrtles was built, it wasn't placed on empty land. It was layered on top of loss.
The Myrtles Plantation was built in 1796 by General David Bradford, a lawyer and politician who fled Pennsylvania after the Whiskey Rebellion. Facing charges of treason, Bradford escaped the South, seeking refuge in Spanish-controlled Louisiana, where land was plentiful and consequences were not. He named the property Laurel Grove.
From the outside, the home was elegant. Wide porches, tall ceilings, breezes that moved slowly through open windows. But like so many plantations of the era, its beauty was sustained through enslaved labor. Men, women, and children whose lives were controlled, traded, and erased without record.
Enslaved people here were considered property, not workers, not tenants, not family. Their bodies were owned. Their time was owned. Their children were owned. Discipline wasn't rare or exceptional. It was built into the system.
Punishment could mean isolation, starvation, physical violence, or being sold away from everyone they loved, often without warning.
Cruelty didn't require rage. It only required permission.
The plantation house wasn't just a home. It was a place of authority where orders were given, punishments decided, and futures altered with a sentence.
Fear didn't live only in the fields. It lived inside the walls.
They worked beneath the sun. They slept beneath my roof. They prayed I wouldn't hear them.
After Bradford, the property passed through multiple families. Over the next century, the Myrtles expanded, both in size and in sorrow. Illness was common. Yellow fever, tuberculosis, malaria. Children didn't always reach adulthood. Women didn't always survive childbirth. Death wasn't an interruption here. It was a part of daily life.
In the 1800s, death wasn't hidden away. It happened at home, in bedrooms, parlors, and hallways. Bodies were washed inside the house, mourned inside the house, sometimes kept for days before burial. Children grew up watching grief unfold in the same rooms where they later slept.
If grief leaves an imprint, this house learned it early.
Mirrors were often covered after death, a belief meant to prevent the soul from becoming trapped or lingering too long among the living. Candles burned nearby, rooms filled with whispers and prayers. But belief doesn't always control what stays behind.
Much of what happened here was never recorded because it didn't need to be. Enslavers weren't required to explain themselves. Pain didn't need documentation when the people suffering had no legal voice.
Historical records from the Myrtles are incomplete. Names are missing. Stories were never written down. But enslaved people lived and died on this land, worked the fields, cooked the meals, raised the children who would later inherit the house.
They were present for everything: births, deaths, illness, arguments, punishment. They saw what families didn't want remembered. And when they died, their stories usually died with them.
They pressed their hands against my walls. They whispered names into my floors. Some of them never left the ground.
Unlike many plantations, the Myrtles was never fully abandoned. As families came and went, as caretakers moved in, as owners died or relocated, someone always remained. There were no long decades of silence, no empty years to let memory fade, which meant whatever lingered here, grief, routine, fear, never had a chance to dissipate.
I was never alone long enough to forget. By the time the Myrtles entered the 20th century, it had already absorbed decades of loss, illness, death, silenced lives. So when people later claimed the house was haunted, the question wasn't why. It was what took so long to speak.
One legend in particular would come to define the Myrtles. A story passed down through whispers, tours, and time.
A woman in a green turban.
And a punishment that may never have happened, but refuses to be forgotten.
If the Myrtles Plantation has a face, it belongs to Chloe. She's the ghost most visitors come looking for. The one printed on brochures. The one guides lower their voices for after dark. A woman and a green turban, watching, listening.
According to legend, Chloe was an enslaved woman who worked inside the Myrtles, close to the family, close enough to overhear private conversations. She's described as observant, curious, too present in spaces she was never meant to occupy.
The story says Chloe was caught listening at a door, eavesdropping on the plantation owner. As punishment, her ear was severed.
To hide the injury, she allegedly wrapped her head in a green turban, a detail that would follow her into legend.
Some versions of the story claim Chloe was involved in an affair with the plantation owner, Judge Clark Woodruff.
But that word doesn't belong here. Enslaved women had no legal right to refuse. Their bodies were considered property. Calling it an affair implies consent.
What Chloe is said to have experienced was not romance. It was coercion.
If Chloe existed, what happened to her wouldn't have been scandal. It would have been survival.
The legend continues that Chloe feared being discarded, sold away, punished further, or killed. So she tried to regain favor. She baked a cake.
Oleander leaves, a toxic plant, were allegedly mixed into the batter. The intent, according to the story, was to make the family ill, not dead.
Instead, 2 children and their mother died.
Chloe was blamed. The story claims she was dragged into the yard and hanged. Not by the owners, but by other enslaved people afraid of retaliation. Her body buried somewhere on the property, unmarked, unnamed.
I felt her panic. I felt their fear.
There is no historical evidence that an enslaved woman named Chloe ever lived at the Myrtles. No plantation records, no death records, no documentation of poisoning or execution.
But the absence of records doesn't mean the absence of truth. It means the system never required truth to be preserved.
Chloe's story didn't survive because it was proven. It survived because it was believable. Sexual violence, punishment without explanation, children dying suddenly, fear of being sold, fear of being erased.
A legend compresses generations of abuse into a single name, a single image, and a single ghost.
Chloe became the stand-in for every enslaved woman whose suffering was never recorded.
They needed a name, so they gave her one. They needed a ghost, so they made her mine.
So, do you think Chloe's story survives because it's a true haunting? Or because it forces us to confront a history that was never allowed to speak?
Confront history.
Well, fucking owners back then were fucking assholes.
Still are.
Oh yeah, old white men. I don't know. They were awful, awful people.
Yeah. But. Let's also not forget about the Irish slaves.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because that's the thing that the textbooks don't go on. It's like, there was the Chinese slaves, there was the Irish
It's
slaves,
all fucked up.
the Egyptian slaves.
All fucked up.
Like,
And don't
all
forget
of
about
them.
Korea's 1,500 year span of slavery, the longest unbroken chain of slavery in human history.
Oh,
yeah,
it's all
and it's
messed
like,
up.
when you keep hearing the stuff, it's never going to go away. I mean, it's...
The
No.
thing that made this story worse is because most of it, like the Irish, they were being enslaved by other whites. The Koreans, they were being enslaved by other Koreans. Like Japanese people, they were enslaving people, but they were enslaving other Asians, and it's not right.
No, it's not.
this is a legend that's been surviving by word of mouth. This is a story that's been told about a female that heard some bad stuff going on and she wasn't supposed to, and supposedly got her ear cut off, and in revenge she poisoned a family, and the other slaves are the one that drug her out and hung her because they were afraid of retaliation.
Well, yeah, the story is, though, she didn't intend on killing them. She wanted to make them sick.
Exactly.
So then they would need her.
Suffer. Yeah, so that
then
she'd
they
be able to
wouldn't-
help them more and wouldn't get rid of her.
Right.
Because she didn't want
And
to be
that's
sold
fucked
off.
up.
It is fucked up because it's a long line of manipulation by both parties.
Well, yeah, this
But
old fucker.
in your position like that, you're like,
pisses me off.
what if you were walking in because he called you and you just overheard them talking? It's not like,
Well, like
she was
just
like, hey,
how
what they got going
how
on
they
in
said
here.
like, oh, I own you, so whether you give me consent or not, doesn't your word doesn't matter against mine.
I know. I don't know. I feel like they say she was eavesdropping. I don't think it was eavesdropping. I think that they fucking called for her, what they say, beckoned for her to come because she
then
didn't
just-
want to be sold off or beaten, so she
Yep.
came at the wrong time and heard what she wasn't supposed to. Like,
I don't know. I know it's
their
a
word
legend,
against.
but it's still messed up.
It's a whole bunch of bullshit is what it is.
Well, it's one of
Fucking
those fucked up legends that sticks around and
bullshit.
made that place famous.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
a
not only that, it was built on an Indian.
Well, of course. I mean,
Not
it was
a
built on
single
stolen ground, like it said.
fucking person should have ever been a fucking slave.
No.
Not a single damn
I
person.
want to know who decided it the first. I'm going to go back in time and beat his ass.
Fucking stupid ass motherfuckers is who.
Yeah.
I hate anything that has to do with slavery because, like I said, my family, we have indigenous blood in us.
Oh, yeah.
When I hear of slaves and I think about what has happened over, the centuries since we have abolished slavery, like, I understand why people are still mad about it. I get it. I'd be mad about it. If it was my family, I would be mad about it.
I mean, I don't like old white creepy men anyway.
My least favorite thing that people like to say is like, it was exceptional back then. Why? Why was it exceptional?
Well, not only that, it's always
Like, what made it
the real
exceptional?
wealthy old guys that do it.
Well, I know it's all the old white weird fuckers, like people that fucking have to feel a charge of something, so they went and owned people. They found a way to own somebody because land wasn't good enough, and they wanted all that land, but they sure the fuck weren't going to work it themselves.
Well, I mean,
No.
for Alec Murdoch, for example, he just because he had money, he thought he could get away with doing that stuff. He
Stupid
did.
bitch.
And it's because you have money, you think you can get away with stuff.
Anybody who's got money thinks that they can get away with stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
that's
stupid.
the problem is they put a price on it, so yeah, they are getting away with it because people doing this fucked up shit, they should not have a bond. If they're going to go to prison, you might as well just put them in prison, not, oh, well, you did bad, but we'll let you go for a price.
Yeah.
But let's put it this way. Guarantee you they do that for almost 90% of Hollywood.
Oh,
Yeah, most of those people, because they're like, well, who's going to entertain us?
Right, exactly.
Like,
Like, we can't find another generation of people to come in and take their place or something.
like I can't say anything because, yeah, I watch Hollywood movies. I like,
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Hollywood
everybody does.
actors.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're the ones that really get away with some, like, besides politicians, some dirty shit, and they shouldn't get away with it.
Yeah.
And religion.
We all grew up
Yeah.
with the wool over our eyes, seeing these people for the movies they were making, not the person that was actually there. Like, we saw characters, we liked the characters, and we look beyond that, and we're like, oh, these people don't do anything bad, and then, bam, go to find out everybody was fucking partying with Jeffrey.
Yeah, and
It's like,
you know
it
what?
sucks, because maybe some of them were there just having fun, but it done... Shit that was going on, it don't seem like it.
I want to know who's on the fucking list.
Everybody does. It's like, what's taking you guys so long? You're trying
But
to
it's
pull out
not
all the
even that.
biggest
Like,
names.
look at all these sex trafficking rings around. You don't even know. Like,
I
you
know,
could be
like,
walking. It's fucked
Walking
up.
right past it. Like, every time I
It's
drive
fucked
past
up.
these houses on Crystal Main Street going to drop Lane off or something, I'm like,
Yes, it's a fuck. You just don't know who. You just don't know.
Nope. It's
fucked up.
bullshit.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, there's been hundreds of people that had, well, I don't know about hundreds, but These people with neighbors that's 12, 17 years had these kids locked in their basements.
Mm-hmm.
Like that one father, he locked his daughter up. Like as soon as she turned, I don't even know, she was like 8 or 9 or something. He kept her until she was like 21, locked in the basement.
That made her have his kids.
Ugh. That happens.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, back to
Wolf
with
Creek.
Chloe, though, like, it's just sad because if it did happen, like, she'll never get the justice she deserves either.
Well, no,
No, and
'cause
she deserves it.
even if they walked in and they saw everything that was going on with her, they wouldn't
And to have
bat an
other,
eye.
and, like, enslaved people like her do that to her, that's
Out of
fucked up,
fear
too.
for what would happen to them. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a way to live.
No, it's not. Nope.
Whether Chloe lived or not, her presence is still felt throughout the Myrtles.
Especially in one place, where many believe the dead never fully left. The mirror. If there's one object at the Myrtles that unsettles even skeptics, it's the mirror. Large, antique, resting against the wall, like it's waiting to be noticed. Not because of what it shows, but because of what it's said to hold.
In the 19th century, mirrors were often covered after death. It was believed an uncovered mirror could trap the soul, or allow spirits to linger too long among the living. At the Myrtles, the dead were laid out inside the home. Candles burned, prayers were whispered. And this didn't happen once. It happened again and again.
The mirror now displayed at the plantation is said to have been present during multiple deaths, including those of children. Whether that's true or not, visitors report something that's hard to ignore. Handprints.
Small child-sized handprints have been reported appearing on the mirror's surface. They don't smear, they don't fade easily. Some claim they reappear even after the glass is cleaned.
Staff members say the prints aren't oily. They aren't condensation. They look intentional. Placed.
Skeptics point to humidity. Old glass reacts to temperature and breath. But even skeptics hesitate when they hear how often the prints appear in the same places.
Children are among the most frequently reported apparitions at the Myrtles. Little girls seen on the staircase, a young boy near the mirror. Some guests hear running footsteps overhead, even when no one is staying upstairs.
A music box playing briefly, then stopping. Toys moving, giggles that don't echo.
Historically, many children died young here, from illness, infection, and fever. Not all deaths were documented. Not all burials marked. If grief leaves fingerprints, children would have left the deepest ones.
Chloe may be the most recognized presence at the Myrtles, but she's not the only one people report encountering. Over the years, guests and staff have described a number that surfaces again and again. 12.
Not 12 confirmed spirits, but 12 presences. Figures, patterns, shadows that repeat.
So why 12? Some say it represents deaths. Others say it's symbolic. A number repeated until it feels complete. But maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe 12 is just the number people can sense before the house stops counting for them. They always underestimate how full I am.
If a place holds generations of grief, do you think spirits stay because they can't leave? Or because they are never allowed to?
Never allowed to.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. 'Cause
Yeah.
I mean, if it's holding grief, it means it's holding on to them. And
Well, like we said earlier, if it's
dying.
holding, the land prior was,
anyone dying from
Indian-
sickness at a young age is going
Yeah.
to be grieving.
Yeah.
Anyone dying from sickness is going to be grieving.
Indian burial ground, and then you had all these slaves that were tortured and all these awful things.
There's
and then
just
these
bullshit
children
after
and-
bullshit after
Exactly.
bullshit.
It's just bad juju.
But yeah, I think it was the Indians, the children, then the slaves, because I think a lot of children died there. Well, slave children as well, but before it was a plantation too.
Oh, yeah, it's just the land, the house, everything.
Yeah, from all the different owners and
It's
stuff.
awful. And then that's the creepy thing. It's never been left abandoned.
But expanded.
Like, there's always been someone in it.
Yeah, they
like,
said there's
all
never been a
times.
decade, so
Just kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
like people are actually putting in their 2-week notices.
Right, yeah.
All right, 2 weeks on the dot, and he's clocking in right on time, and he's walking out.
And it's sad because it's a beautiful house.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful, and it just
Let's buy
sucks. Yeah.
The Vale Plantation.
I'd love to go see it
Yeah.
in
I'm
person.
I told her we should get, there's this
I
old
want to
RV
start
for
going
sale.
to these places.
We need to make the portable studio, I'm telling you.
Yeah, he wants to get like a portable
It's like not even
RV.
$5,000, and it's a 73 Dodge
That'd be
fucking-
cool.
It's like called the Dodge Explorer, which threw me off because I was like, Ford was the Explorer, but it's an RV. I'm like, this would be a sick on-the-go fucking. Can make 3 little offices down the line, put
Yeah.
the studio on the back, and find a way to get beds in there.
That would be cool.
Because I mean, there's already beds, but to make it a studio, we'd have to take the bedroom out,
Like long term.
which would be dope. Because I mean, it has enough room for us 3, Caleb, and probably 2 other people.
We can go to the penitentiary.
But
we can go to the
sleeping-wise, it'd
asylum, we can
probably
go
do
to
4 or
Lizzie
5.
Borden House. We can go
Yeah,
to
that's what I was
all
saying.
everywhere.
That'd
Start
be
doing
so
on the-
much
It
fun.
would be. We could go
Especially
to
for like mini-sodes and stuff on the weekends, to start doing our recordings on the
Yes.
weekends and go
Bell
out on
Witch Cave.
Saturdays.
Bell Witch Caves,
'Cause those
Waverly
places are
Hills.
like 5 or
This
6
place.
hours away, so I mean,
New Orleans. It's haunted.
there's a lot of places we can make it to at home in
Salem.
15 hours.
Salem, of course.
Or
Yeah.
before the weekend's over, so I mean,
That'd be so fun.
it would. It's not hard. Even a little bus, but just somewhere we can fucking tape off in the back and be comfortable to record.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be cool.
Just have to have 4 spots in case we run into somebody there. We're like, hey, we gotta get you on this episode.
Right, right.
You gotta
How
come
long
up
you
in
been
this
working
bitch.
here? He's like, I've been working here since I was 20.
Exactly.
Oh, shit. Okay, come on.
You know it all. Let's go, bro.
That would be cool.
It would. That's why I mean, that'd be so sick. Get that done for a studio somewhere home, and then get an on-the-go one so we can fucking take off.
Gotta have goals.
Oh, we got gold. Just need some money now.
Yeah. Definitely need that.
I know.
Chloe is the one people recognize. The others never needed a name.
And for some guests, the most unsettling part of the Myrtles isn't who they see, it's what follows them out. For some haunted places, the stories end with the past, old deaths, old legends, but the Myrtles never stopped collecting witnesses. Not believers, not thrill seekers, witnesses.
Staff members and overnight guests describe the same shift. The house feels different at night. Not violent, not chaotic, intentional. Doors that were closed found open, lights turn on in empty rooms, and footsteps echo where no one should be walking.
Guests staying overnight often report waking to the sound of pacing outside their doors. Slow, deliberate steps that stop the moment they sit up in bed.
Nope, I would not.
Hell yeah, brother!
Like, yeah.
Hell yeah, brother!
Open the door, no one's there. I'm like, alright, who's making these sounds?
Hell yeah, brother!
Who took my toe?
Who took my toe?
Don't
That
eat the
thing was
chili. But
Scary.
That was...
I like
I
that
love
movie.
scary
That
That's
is-
a fun movie.
That is where my obsession for horror
Yes.
began when I first read that book.
I thought they were gonna make a Harold spin-off.
Yeah,
I thought they were
were gonna do a
supposed to.
series.
That's what I heard.
Like a
That'd
few
be
movies.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I know
That
they're
would be
making. This is
cool.
off topic. It just reminded me of it. But they're making. Aren't they officially making 13 Ghosts? The spin-offs of each ghost. Like
I think so.
I read
That's not
something
off
like that.
topic. This is true crime and paranormal.
Well, yeah. I mean, from the scary stories tell in the dark, though. Just remind.
That was...
The different-
I fucking loved that book so much growing up.
Yes, me too.
My parents
Goosebumps.
wonder why I'm so deranged morbidly into some of this stuff.
Yeah. My dad won't watch a scary movie at all.
My dad doesn't really watch them anymore either.
He never liked them. My
Now-
mom, on the other hand, she likes them.
My dad does, but he can't do the gore anymore. So if there's like a scary movie and it has a lot of gore in it, he's like,
No, my dad won't even watch that.
yeah, he's like, there's like even The Walking Dead, he was like, there's too much gore in it. I was like, this is actually like the perfect level of gore. I said it's not over the top. I said, and it's not.
Has he seen Saw?
Oh yeah, he's seen. Dude, that was one of the Christmas movies that I fucking watched with my cousin Brittany when I was little.
That's funny.
When her and her parents were still fucking together. Went there one Christmas morning, if I'm remembering it correctly, and fucking Saw was playing on the fucking screen, and I was like 10.
Yeah.
I mean, she's the one who introduced me to scary movies in general. 6 years old, my fucking first scary movie was Ghost Ship.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a good one.
It's not even that scary, to be honest.
It freaked me out when I was little. Mainly the little girl in the beginning, because I had a nightmare about her, so then it just stuck with me.
There was this movie that I sat and watched called Raptor Island.
Never heard of that.
It was a sci-fi movie, that's probably why. I think it's one that I found at Blockbuster and wanted to rent it because it had raptors in it. I remember it was my first R-rated movie that my mom let me get. And she had to sit and watch it with me, and she was like, what the hell is this?
That's funny.
It's literally just a raptor-infested island, and the raptors are just killing people. I'm like, it's a dinosaur killing people. That's what I want to watch.
Kind of like Jurassic Park.
Except for it actually showed gore and guts and shit like that.
Oh.
Whereas Jurassic Park doesn't do any of that.
Which is surprising.
Which, like, in the second Jurassic Park movie, when What's-His-Face goes into the porta potty, and the T-Rexes come out and grab his ass. He gets yanked in half right in front of you, but you ain't seen no fucking guts or nothing. It's like, super realistic. This is why y'all should have made all those movies R-rated.
Right. I agree.
They should have been R-rated. If they did it from the book, they should have stuck with what the fuck was in the book.
Yeah.
And it would have made dinosaurs 10 times more terrifying.
I agree.
Because, like, the little chompies. The fucking... In the book, it describes the chompies going after a baby.
Yeah.
And they kept saying, oh, we're gonna give you an R-rated Jurassic Park. They said that about the last Jurassic World with Scarlett Johansson. It was gonna be fucking R-rated. Fucking PG-13 bullshit.
PG-13. Yep.
Actually make them fucking dinosaurs scary and, like I understand, make stuff for kids. I get that. But some adults want to actually see what an actual fucking dinosaur will do.
Yeah, I agree. Well,
they're supposed to be making... they're supposed to be making... I think it's a dinosaur game, but... I thought they had a movie that was like that. Where it's pretty much horror, sci-fi, a lot of gore.
Well, I mean, you got Turok.
Yeah, I remember that one.
That was a good game.
That was a good game, yeah.
That was a good game.
I know, I played that one on 64.
Me too.
Which, Ron Perlman did the voice of Turok.
And then...
On the game?
Yep.
The 64?
I don't know in the 64.
I was gonna say, damn.
But he did do... It may have been just the remake, but he did the voice
I've
of
only
Turok.
played the 64 versions.
I played the 64 and... Yeah. I played the 64 version because Michaela had it. Mm-hmm. We would play that, and I think Spyro. We would play that a lot.
Oh, I love Spyro.
Yeah.
I was thinking about playing that the other day. It's a good game.
Love Spyro.
Objects move, but not dramatically. Chairs turn slightly from where they were left. Personal items relocated. A rocking chair moving on its own when the air is still.
Staff say items aren't lost. They're placed.
One of the most common experiences reported by guests is the sensation of being watched while sleeping. Not fear, pressure, a weight in the room, a presence standing just out of sight.
Some guests refuse to stay the night again. Others leave before sunrise. And a few ask for refunds. Not because they saw anything, but because they felt too much. The Myrtles isn't only haunted by illness and memory, it's marked by violence. In 1871, a man named William Winter was shot on the front porch of the plantation.
Winter was a lawyer who lived at the Myrtles with his family. After being shot, he staggered inside the house. Bleeding heavily, he climbed the staircase, step by step, before collapsing. According to historical accounts, he died on the 17th step.
Guests and staff have reported hearing footsteps moving up the staircase late at night, slow, labored. Some say the steps stop at the same place. Others claim they hear a man's voice. Faint, strained, counting. 17.
Some believe the tall, silent male figure reported near doorways and the stairs is William Winter. Always watching, never approaching. For many guests, the most unsettling part of the Myrtles isn't what they see, but it's what they hear.
Guests and staff have repeatedly reported hearing what sounds like a gunshot on the property. Sharp, sudden, unmistakable.
Not fireworks, not a car backfiring. A single consecutive crack, followed by a silence so heavy, it feels deliberate.
Crying is another sound guests describe, especially late at night. Soft, muffled. Sometimes a woman, sometimes a child.
Several guests report waking suddenly with sadness they can't explain. Some realizing they're already crying before they're fully awake. Then there's the piano. Guests report hearing piano music coming from empty rooms. Simple melodies, unfinished phrases. When they investigate, the room is empty. The piano untouched. Just silence where sound should still be lingering.
What makes the Myrtles unsettling isn't one dramatic event. It's repetition. The same rooms, the same sounds, the same sensations, reported decades apart by people who never spoke to one another.
Different generations, different beliefs, the same experience. They think I speak. I don't. I remember.
Some places are haunted by ghosts.
Others are haunted by memory.
And some never stopped watching. The Myrtles doesn't feel haunted in the way people expect. It doesn't feel angry. It doesn't feel loud. It feels full. As if the house learned how to hold people, their labor, their grief, their fear, and never learned how to let them go.
Some of the stories tied to this place are legend. Others are documented. And some exist somewhere in between, where memory fills in the gaps history left behind. But every story points to the same truth. Pain lived here, and it lived here for a long time.
Whether you believe in ghosts or not, places like the Myrtles reminds us that trauma doesn't disappear just because time moves forward. It settles, it repeats, and it waits to be acknowledged.
Maybe the Myrtles isn't haunted by spirits. Maybe it's haunted by everything that was never allowed to be mourned.
That concludes this episode of Veil of Echoes. Thank you for spending this time with us, and for listening carefully to stories that deserve patience and care.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider following the show and leaving a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It helps more listeners find their way here.
You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook for visuals, behind-the-scene moments, and updates on what's coming next. And this Saturday, we return with a new episode of Missing Veil Files.
This time, we're focusing on the disappearance of Brandon Swanson, a case defined by one phone call and a silence that never resolved.
No confirmed crime scene, no witnesses, just a voice on the line, and unanswered questions.
We'll share what's known and invite you to help us explore what might have been missed, because sometimes the truth doesn't come from the files alone.
On Monday, we step into a world where darkness wasn't whispered about.
It was built, displayed, and pushed further every time someone watched.
We're telling the story of Euronymous and the Norwegian black metal scene, where shock became identity and extremism became currency.
What started as a performance spiraled into obsession
And ended in murder.
when darkness stops being art
And becomes intent. Until then, keep your ears open.
and the veil